there, Vault Dwellers. Follow us as we take a topic from the Fallout universe and discuss it in a group of diverse individuals. We are the Fallout Roundtable. Join us, the conversation has already started.
Welcome to another episode of the Fallout Roundtable. I am your host, Maverick Stone, and today is going to be a weird episode. It's going to be, you're not going to hear anybody else. I mean, besides my friends Maverick and Maverick on sides, it's just me. We're going to have some fun though, because I've been doing some stuff since we last recorded. We last released and everything. So, but before we get started into that, how about you rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast, to our YouTube channel, the Fallout Roundtable. Search that in the search bar, you'll find it easily. How about you find our Twitter, at Fallout RTB. Just send us a message over there. We'll answer it. It's awesome. And then go to our Gmail. You can go to our Gmail, send us an email, like the one we got a couple weeks ago that we talked about on the show. FalloutRTB@gmail.com. So yeah. But yeah, it's just me, and I have some thoughts that I want to speak of. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about multiple things, because I know my thoughts and everything aren't going to be sane, because I'm not normal. So let's get started. So I've been replaying Fallout 4 recently, as I found my console while cleaning some space. So I've been playing Fallout 4, and I'm going to talk first about a couple settlements. Because there's these things that I think of while I'm driving down the road that I'm like, this does not make sense. And yet I don't record them. It probably makes so much funny content, so much funniness. People would be like, this guy should be locked up in a mental facility. Things like that. But, let's begin. There's a couple of them where I'm going through. I'm like, I could put that there. But with the mechanics, there's only so much I can put in. So let's first start with the castle. The castle, the Minutemen headquarters. It's going to be great. It's nice, big. It's over there, Boston. I had some thoughts about it. There are some mods out there that could make the castle better than what it is. It could repair the broken wall that's over there from all that stuff, from all the monsters, from all the Mirelurks that are coming in, everything. How you get to the castle is that there's a quest that you go through, and you sort of just wing it. I mean, there's a plan according to the quest, but most of the time it just doesn't happen that way, because you deal with the Maverick Queen in the end. How I defeated them, just put nuke mines. Just put mines where it comes out, because I've done the quest about half dozen times, so I know where it's coming out. So I will set mines and just pre-booby trap the area, because I never have enough ammo, because I'm a trigger finger happy. And you can explore the place. There's another quest inside where you can get into the armory. A lot of us Fallout fans that have what's the word? That have played the game know what I'm talking about. You get the artillery that way that you can put in your settlements. But but here is where I get to talking. Well, here's my brain. Why the castle, the Minutemen headquarters? It just doesn't make sense. I get Minutemen are part of Boston and everything like that, but it's not strategic anymore, to be honest. It's just there. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you can repair the wall, broken wall, you can emplace it, but it's just right out in the open. There's no cover, there's no nothing in the courtyard, there's nothing. You can't do much of anything as to building settlement stuff there. You can't recently I found, you could put like grow stuff inside, but for the most inside the castle in the courtyard, if you put like plant growers down, but for the most part, you can't do much of anything. And even though it's my most happiest settlement in the whole land, but actually, no, Sanctuary Hills is because that's a whole lot easier to keep up. But to be honest, though, it's not the greatest as most people think. Yeah, you get a lot of stuff from there, and it's good for headquarter stuff. But as a settlement itself, it's not that good. I know, I'm probably not in the majority about this, but you gotta listen. You got just listen. Just hear me out for a minute here. Hear me out before you get your pitchforks and torches and come find me. My whole thing is, yeah, you can put like barracks and stuff in the hallways and everything, but you can put like medic stuff in the walls and stuff. But overall, it's the mechanics. You can't really build. You can't really build anything because a lot of it's there. You can't when you're building stuff. You can get rid of a whole lot of stuff. Also, it's just not the greatest, to be honest. It's wide open. There's no protection. It's just like a gathering place. I get it. That's what a settlement is used for, but come on. And then also you just got a tower in the middle that's just sticking up like a spire, and also like a radio, and it's a radio antenna where you get like radio freedom, or I think is what it's called. If I'm wrong, please correct me. It's I was playing through it during it this time, and I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't make sense. I know I keep saying that, and I told you my reasons why. So we're going to move on to my next settlement that, it doesn't make sense to me. The Nordhagen Beach. So this is one of those places that, Preston Garvey gosh, I can't speak English. That gives you a quest to go to this place called Nordhagen Beach. It's on the other side of the bay. It's just out in the open. There's literally nothing there. I mean, there's a couple like a tents, and it's like a beach bum paradise, to be honest. Then you complete the mission and the settlement's yours. I looked you know, into it more thoroughly and everything, and I'm like, it's the same thing with the castle, but for a whole lot different reasons. I guess I got more gripes with Nordhagen Beach settlement than I do the castle, because Nordhagen Beach is even more open. There's nothing there, and where you go is a racetrack. It's a robot racing horse thingy that raiders do. It's not a good place. It's not safe. I mean, nowhere in Fallout is safe. But this, nothing. Nah, 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 nah. No, nada. Still show. It's if you're planning on building there, good luck, man. It's just, I just lost for words of how it's like all set up and everything. You can't do anything. You can't build. I mean, you can if you're lucky. If you're lucky to find a spot, there's Also, you can't do anything either. Yeah. You can't build crops because it's all sand. There's not like legitimate dirt unless you got like plant points and plots and stuff. It's it's not the greatest. And I know I'm going on and on and on and on and on about how stuff is terrible and all that, but still, there's still a lot of good. Like, as we're moving right along to the drive-in. We all know the drive-in, the Starlight Drive-in. There are tons of mods about that. Tons of mods. There's a bunch of stuff about the drive-in because it's open. It's a perfect building place. After you get rid of all the mole rats and stuff, and because there's a water source there, it's pretty flat after you get rid of everything. It's pretty good. Good. I mean, there are some aspects, that you can't like you can't really build a fence around it because it's weird. If you want to use the whole thing instead of just blocking it off into different little points, it's it's a great place to build. It's settlement worthy, where like Nordhagen Beach was not settlement worthy. The castle is more of a militarized HQ. It's not for like a military base settlement type thing. You it's where you gather the troops. It's where you command everything, camaraderie, freedom from the brotherhood. That sort of thing. The drive-in is just out in the middle of nowhere. It's I mean, it's off the beaten path a little bit. Not really, but it's off. It's one of the first things that you see that you run into if you're following the main quest down. It's pretty easy to root everything out. You just gotta find all the pests and stuff that are there. And it's pretty fun to build because there's not a lot of like assets that are there that would hinder building, such as unlike the castle where there's already a ton of stuff there where you can barely build anything unless you get rid of pretty much everything inside the walls. The drive-in, you can be creative. You can get creative as can be. Like 2-story, 3-story. You can go into the ceiling, the main ceiling of the place. You can hide up behind the broken screen, because there's a ladder up there. You can get up there. You can actually no, you can't. There is a couch back there, but you can't really build inside the buildings. So yeah, I think Starlight Drive-In is a perfect settlement place for you to build. Unlike, Nordhagen Beach, where it's small, it's legit just one of those places that Preston sends you to like, oh, mark this settlement's in trouble. Let me mark it on your map. Yeah. And then he sends you on your way. That's why I don't like Preston. I don't like Preston that way. I never. I guess I don't play with companions, so I would not know anything different. I don't kill him though, but I don't like him. It's very well known within the Fallout Roundtable community, our little tiny community that we have, that I'm not a Preston Garvey fan. It's not. It's not me. It's you, Preston. So anyway, yeah, I got a couple more I would like to speak up, but first, yeah. Well, I got another one here for you guys. So how about Covenant? We all know Covenant. It's a walled-in facility, settlement with town and stuff. But I got a couple gripes about that place. It's worse than Nordhagen Beach. but in different reasons that I will get into. So, Covenant, for background information for people that don't know, Covenant is a location in Fallout 4, like we're still talking about. It's like a pre-war thing, and it's still standing to this day. It was made to be like a refuge for people that got hurt by the synths and whatever. And please don't come after me on paraphrasing because there's a lot. You can either kill everybody except for the handy bot and the cat that's in there, or you can ally with them, and you don't gotta kill anybody unless you like steal something. But anyway, that's not my gripe. My gripe is it's a walled in place, and if you were to notice, there's turrets everywhere. Turrets that do not count towards your defense or anything. It kind of doesn't make sense, and they can't be moved. They can't do anything. They're just there, and I'm like, that's a waste of space. If I were to create a settlement, and have all this stuff there, it should count towards my defenses, my food, and everything. But I think the crops count towards your food intake, but your defenses, those heavy turrets, do not, because they don't move. And then where the build thing is, you can't put anything on the outside anyway. So that doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. It's just, especially on the defensive standpoint, it's a settlement where you can't build anything pretty much. I mean, you can add some things, but you can't like add buildings because it's not big enough. You just got to use what you got. At least that's my opinion about the thing. It's very frustrating when you take the settlement, however way you do it, either killing everybody or allying with them or anything like that. And those big turrets, you're thinking, oh wow, I don't gotta put defenses, or I don't have to put as many defenses to add up to it, and they don't count for nothing. Ugh. But you live, you learn. It's a video game. You just gotta deal with it. You gotta add more, whatever you gotta do. It's the wasteland after all. But anyway, yeah, let's continue on with a different settlement. So let's continue on. I want to talk about my summer home in the wasteland. It's just south of Sanctuary Hills. It's not off the beaten path. You just go through a walkway, and it's literally right there. It's the second thing. It's where you meet Dog Meat. It's where you meet the Dog Meat himself. Arf, arf. You know what I mean. I'm going to talk about the Red Rocket Inn, or no, the Red Rocket Truck Stop. Man, I can't say stuff right. I'm going to talk about that because I like it. Settlement, the Red Rocket. It's just south of Sanctuary Hills, as I said, but it's just north of, I think it's Concord. You got to think for a minute here. It's a settlement that you can build. In some of my games, I do have people, settlements. It's like a outpost sort of thing. In my main save, I have nobody there. It's just to get away from me. Like I build stuff on the roof. I get rid of, I wall in like underneath where the gas is, where they dispense the gas. Man, I sound old saying that, where they dispense the gas or like the nuclear materials or whatever. It's weird. It's weird how I said that, but we're gonna go for it. There's just because you got yourself a garage with a power armor station there. You got your workstations, your workbenches in there, and there's more around the back side of the building, or you can build them. That's what I did, pretty much. Oh, because there are a couple that weren't there, but I wanted it to be like my summer home, my home away from home, just to get away from everybody. Because pressing garbage can be annoying. But anyway, you could build that sucker sky high. I mean, the ceiling is not that big because it's a building. So what are you gonna do about it? But you can put some nice defenses. Like I play with mod Fallout 4. I will say it. I play with mods, except for my very first playthrough. Because one, I didn't know that there were mods, and two, after I found out there were mods I could do. I wanted to complete it, as the gamers say, vanilla, plain. So no one would criticize me. It's well known within our group how I played Fallout 4. So yeah. We're gonna there's a couple more things, like you can there's a tablet, no, not a tablet. There's a terminal in the back inside the main building that you can like look into and all that. I didn't really look in. I mean, at first I looked into it and then I put a bed right there. That's where I put my bed, in that little back corner. It's where my bed would fit, because I didn't want to sleep in a sleeping bag on the floor, even though even though it's the wasteland. It's really not that. It's really not that special. You can go around you can get up to the building through stairs. You just gotta jump a little bit, unless your character's stupid enough not to jump and everything. So yeah, yeah, and then afterwards, we're gonna take it. We're gonna go back up to Sanctuary Hills. I have some gripes. I have some big gripes. I have some very big gripes. So Sanctuary Hills is the very first location in the wasteland outside of Vault. Gosh, I think it's no, one. God, I'm a Fallout host and I don't know my vaults. I think it's Vault 111. It's either Vault 11 or 101. I think 101 is Fallout 3. But anyway, when you're coming up, seeing the sunshine and the destruction everywhere, you're like, and then you walk down, and then you have to go to your house because it's literally right there. It's plot material. It's plot within the game. I get it. It's just to keep you on moving, but make it a little bit farther. Don't make it like your very first place you go. Fight people first. That's all I'm saying. Fight people. Get a real sense of the wasteland first. Like in Fall. I mean, I get Fallout 3. The first location that I went to was, I think it was Megaton. Megaton. I accidentally went around the backside. The backside of Megaton, where I'm like, how do we get in? Oh no, maybe this is just a glitch in the game. No, there's an actual settlement. And I was just on the backside where it hadn't loaded in yet. It was like very grainy and gross looking. As I went around, I later realized it's a settlement. But to all those fans out there, I did not blow up Megaton in any of my saves because, unlike people, I like the town. Town is great. But anyway, back to Sanctuary Hills. Sanctuary Hills is where you live with your wife, or your ex-wife is. Ooh, plot. Ooh, spoiler. She dies. Oh no, she dies in the vaults when your son gets taken from you in the clutches of a bounty hunter. Ooh. I think that's the Red Bull talking. But anyway, so you meet Cogsworth. Cogsworth is a little worse for wear. He's still in one piece and everything, and later on you can take him as a companion. And then you Cogsworth suggests, hey, why don't you go down into town? And that's where you meet my mortal enemy, Preston Garvey, and the Minutemen. I mean, I like the Minutemen faction. I don't like Preston Garvey. I don't like his recurring quests. They're just way too frequent for me. But that's beside the point. So you go through you save the Minutemen. They were heading up to Sanctuary Hills. You follow them, and that's when you can build. And that's where I have gripes. So in the game, there's this one house that basically you take care of them, essentially. What I did is I put like down 16 for temporary housing where they were. I just got rid of everything in that building, like the insides, like the tables, the chairs. After I got everything out, the dressers and the beds and stuff, I just filled it with sleeping bags and just hope for the best. That's all I did. I mean, and then for what I did, I tried to find, apparently it's hard to do crops in the wasteland in this game. If you don't know what you're doing, which I don't know what I'm doing half the time, even now, especially with crops and stuff. I found out there's a plant plot that you can do. It's a ton of fun, when you finally realize that. I'm like, oh, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So that's not my gripe. My gripe is you can't destroy the house. You can't destroy other houses. And there's stuff in these houses. Like there's bugs in these houses and like rad roaches and stuff. It's not the characters are already there. The bugs and crap should be gone. And then they try to take your house. I mean, no. And then you try to rebuild. What I did is I made my house, the house that they lived in pre-war, sort of like my HQ. I used the castle as my overarching military HQ. And I use that with quotes. If you look on our video, that's me in quotes. Quotations. Because I liked Sanctuary Hills better. It was up in the hills. It was more strategic. Strategery. Yeah. That sounds right. Strategery. Strategic. That's the word I'm looking for. So because there's a river right there, you can build. It's a pain in the butt to put power lines everywhere in this place, and and actually, because I wanted to like fence it in. You can't really fence in the whole place. It's an ongoing theme where it doesn't come out straight. Where you try to like put a gate. What I try to do is I put a gate at the opening, and I tried to go around the whole place. It doesn't work out. It's not straight. It doesn't add up. It's kind of like that meme of how, railroad tracks, they're just a little bit off that they don't touch. It's like that, and it's annoying. I'm sorry I'm being negative, but, that's my biggest gripe about this whole thing. And then you can destroy complete houses that are already destroyed, like completely destroyed. There's no use to them, so they let you just whoop gone. What my biggest gripe after playing it, after starting to replay it, is the houses that that are still standing but have stuff in them. They can't be destroyed, and I'm like, if I don't want that house, why can't I just destroy it? Take everything out with it, and then it's more space where I can build up, where I can build my own little settlement, even if it's just a shack. It's because the roof. I get it's a video game, and I may take some things literally. But to be honest, if I'm in the wasteland, I kind of don't want something off my face, like the rain from the roof, because it's half gone. I don't know about you, but that's just me, to be honest. Um, Overall, I did a lot with it with my past playthroughs of the game. Made it one of my main settlements, unlike some of the other smaller but bigger settlements that are there. It's it's just there. It's fun to play with. Enough griping, but first, let's take a mid break. Let's take a break. I'll see you on the other side.
Ever wanted to be a content creator but had no clue where to begin? Come join me as I sit down with content creators that have already faced the challenges you're up against, as they discuss the tips and tricks that help them be successful. Here on The Content Creator's Guide, available wherever podcasts can be found.
Welcome back. I hope you all had a great time going through security to get to the second half of the show after our mid break, or our break in general. But let's stop talking about my gripes and negativeness about Fallout 4 settlements. Instead, let's talk about the TV show. Fallout TV, the Fallout TV show is coming out. Well, when this episode comes out next Monday, it'll be that Thursday. That Thursday when this episode comes out. So if you're listening to this on Monday when it first came out, it'll all make sense. So it comes out Thursday. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts and whatever. So we record this podcast on Thursdays. For some reason, not a lot of us will be on next week due to scheduling conflicts. So we aren't doing anything for the release. At least not that I know of. And I know a lot of things. Which is unfortunate, but also fortunate at the same time. We got a lot of stuff to do, guys. Just think about it for a minute there. What goes into this podcast? It's a lot. It's a lot. But anyway, let's get into nitty gritty of this TV show since it's coming up Thursday. So I have expectations for this show. And I also, it's the saying is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's my motto going into this show. I'm hoping for the best. I heard from the trailers, it looks fantastic. Same thing could be said about Halo, though. I'm going to do Halo references to the Halo TV show on Paramount Plus that I watched both seasons of, because I also play Halo, a lot of Halo. I was in the majority of that show where I'm like, it's good, but it's like, it's not really that good. It's good enough. It's good enough for me not to riot. Except for the end of the last episode of the second season. That got intriguing, but unless So it could be like a Halo situation, but it also could be, as you can't see my hands here, going Halo. And then the second one could be it could turn out like The Last of Us, where that was a masterpiece. They put on a masterclass for us, and it was beautiful. Everything, from the soundtrack, the design, the acting, Pedro Pascal. Oh, my Mando. Beautiful, beautiful storytelling. Everything was just. I mean, there were some parts where I'm like, but it was more. There were more yes than eh, you know. So for going back to the Fallout TV show, I'm on that side of hoping for the best, prepare for the worst. What I mean by that is that there could be, from the trailers and all the stuff that I've heard, it's set after Fallout 4. So a lot of stuff has changed from in the wasteland on the West Coast, which I'm hoping I'm hoping that they'll bring up New Vegas. A lot of these, more better games, like references, because I know there's a complete storyline and everything that could be everything, like I don't know how to phrase it. Story is everything in TV shows. Writing in general, it's all about plot and story. And for this TV show, there's a lot going into it, especially with us going back to the boneyard, essentially. Los Angeles and the wasteland, Salt Lake City, some of the west side. Let's just say it's the west side. So there's a lot of locations like Mariposa, Shady Sands, um, Boneyard itself, uh, the NCR. Well, that's a faction, but you get the thing. Caesar's Legion or Caesar's Legion. Um, House. I mean, House is in New Vegas. I don't think. I think they'll bring up New Vegas. I hope they bring up New Vegas in House, but I'm not expecting it. That's the expectation from me. There are going to be a lot of references. I feel like there's going to be a lot of references, a lot of stuff in the background that we would have to go shot by frame, pretty much, or like the review YouTubers out there that dig a little deeper than us fans that we go to. That they will have a plenty of work to do, more than likely, because there's probably going to be like a ton of stuff in the background, a ton, like Pit Boys, stem packs. I mean, besides the normal chems, stem packs, weapons, maybe there'll be bobbleheads in the background, stuff like that. Stuff that fan service. That's the phrase I'm thinking of. I feel like there's going to be a lot of fan service to us Fallout fans, because we've been waiting for this forever, ever since we learned it was going to come out. We still want Fallout 5, but this will have to do. And it's all going to be canon, which that's another expectation. I hope it doesn't contradict parts of stuff, but I feel like this could also be their moment if they wanted to retcon anything in the Fallout universe or explain stuff. At the same time, like if Lucy and the shopkeeper was, if she's like actually explaining it to them, they could like retcon stuff. Like Caesar's Legion, it was not made by Bethesda. You gotta realize, but New Vegas was not made by Bethesda proper. It was made by Obsidian. And people think this, well, not a lot of people, but some people, including myself, may think that they'll retcon some things by referencing stuff different or making endings of different games canon while making other endings of Fallout games non-canon. Like how Fallout 4 has multiple endings depending on what faction you go with. Um New Vegas is the same way, depending on what faction you go with for the Battle of Hoover Dam. For all we know, that war could still be going on during this TV show. I honestly don't think so, based on everything, how far away it is from New Vegas, like the timeline and stuff, how that's far away. I could be completely wrong, and that war could be raging that very minute. And we see Caesar's Legion, house robots. That's probably why the Brotherhood of Steel is back or whatever. The NCR is there, but also that's another thing. The NCR, we see the flag in the background in one of the trailers. Yeah, I feel like that's more going to be a flashback. I think the NCR will not be a big. I think they'll have a presence. I don't think it'll be a big presence, though. Unlike the Brotherhood of Steel, which I think will be one of the main factions, evil or good. Either the main, they're not going to be morally gray. I feel like they're going to be more leaning more good or evil, not somewhere in the middle part, like what Fallout 4 Brotherhood under Elder Maxon was, where they were gray. Of course, everyone in 4 was gray. They made good decisions and they made bad decisions. That's all I'm saying. So along with the good expectations, I think, so good expectations, what I'm thinking for this show. I think the scenery is going to be amazing. I guess there's going to be a couple things that are here and there that are going to be wonky. Almost everything is like that. Almost. I say almost. There are some things where I'm like, it's gross. But I hope it has a good ending, a beginning and story wise. I hope. I'm expecting it to be good. I was watching another Amazon Prime original show called The Man in the High Castle. I watched I think it was 3 or 4 seasons of it. It was all the way through it. It was great. And then the end was like a dud. I hope that the ending of the show is not a dud. Or at least the end of the season is not a dud. I hope there's like a cliffhanger. They'll come back season 2. Bring back other factions. Create new stuff. I feel like they're going to create some new stuff just for the show, for canon. And it will be canon, which, okay. I'm okay with that. I hope there'll be cameos from different well-known creators, kind of like what they did with Five Nights at Freddy's movie, where a lot of those YouTubers and if you look on the wall in the movie, I think it's in the very beginning. See on the wall, Employee of the Month. A lot of those are actual YouTubers that were influential within Five Nights at Freddy's that played a lot of it, such as like Markiplier. Man, that's the only one I really know. I don't really watch the other ones, but there were in that span, in that net of community, that's where it was, and I hope that we'll get something like that for us fans who stuck around and all that. I hope that they'll be going back to fan service. I hope there's a ton of fan service, and then I hope there's stuff that the normal person would understand. that it wouldn't be that wouldn't be confusing to the person, to a normal outside non-Fallout fan. I hope it gets explained really well in the beginning, and it probably will. But I'm hoping that it turns out good. I hope it. I don't think in the video game film sphere, The Last of Us is like that pinnacle of stuff for episodic shows. Movies such as Uncharted, the Borderlands movie with Kevin Hart in it. Uncharted was a pretty good movie. I heard they're making a second one. Borderlands, that looks pretty funny with Jack Black, Kate Blanchett. I feel like those are on a different scale because there's more budget, better stuff that you can do. Unlike TV shows where it's a little bit smaller budget, but also at the same time, there's different stuff. Different where you guys span, 30-minute episodes. I think there's gonna be like 8 episodes. They're probably gonna be longer, like more like an hour. So it'd be like a 8 hour long movie. I hope that's not what it is. Where I hope it's where I say, oh, all of the episodes will come out such and such a date. I hope it's just like like what Disney would say, oh, comes out such and such a time, and it just shows out the first episode, and then the week after it does on that same day, second episode. I hope they don't drop it all because the suspense isn't going to be there. The suspense, the wanting to come back is not going to be there if they just drop all at the same time. I'm on that side that I'm like, don't do that. That's not good. That's not what good shows do. I think The Last of Us, they didn't drop everything all at once. Halo didn't. All the Star Wars stuff, the Marvel stuff, well, definitely all the Disney Plus stuff, all the Disney Plus original shows did not. I just hope also that it'll be actually episodic and we just don't drop everything all at once. Like drop everything to the ground and just be like, there you go, have fun. I hope there's suspense. I hope there's a good cliffhanger if they're going to do a second season, which I hope they do. But let's go to my bad the prepare for the hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Let's go for the worst. For all we know, it could be flat. It could be a downer. I mean, Fallout is already a downer, being a apocalyptic wasteland. But it's in shows like this, it could turn out like the Halo show where it was like they retold a lot of things that didn't go out as right or as good as people would have wanted, myself included. It could be exactly like that. It could just be like we know it's not going to be a retelling of anything like most other video game shows. It's going to be more of a original story, which that's great. That's great, but that could also come with complications where all the producers and stuff don't know their Fallout lore. I know people from Bethesda, such as our Lord and Savior Todd Howard, all hail Todd Howard, was very heavy-handed in the development of this show, which, yay! But at the same time, that could be put like a ball and chain on these producers where they can't do as much because Fallout 5's coming. Fallout 5's coming out eventually, and the show, if they're going to do something similar plot line, that they're going to be like, nah, you can't do that. No, you can't do that because we will do that in the game. Which, okay, but let us know that. Let us know, or at least afterwards, after the show. Let us know that. Because there's some things that are like, that makes sense to explain in an episodic TV show, and then there's other things where it'd be better in the game with NPCs and you just figuring it out along the way. It's perfect. It would be perfect. Let me phrase it like that. Yeah. It would be perfect if we got enough fan service and at the same time good story, good design, because we're in alternate universe. In the Fallout universe, there's different stuff. It's still in the 50s, I think. Gosh, I can't remember to save my life, but in that time period of the Fallout universe where it's not like some of these fan-made shows where, oh, you put a Fallout thing, it's Fallout. I'm not saying everyone does that, but there are a couple that do that. There are I feel like they're going to do a whole lot more. I know I said I was going to say what the hope for the best, prepare for the worst. It sort of just melded into one. Me thinking about it right now. I'm excited to see what happens with the show. I think it'll turn out just fine. I think there'll be a second season, but they're trying. I understand if they were to exclude not the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood's definitely in it. But I'm saying if they want to exclude some of the other factions, like the NCR, well, I think the NCR will come in, but like the New Vegas factions, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Like some of the New Vegas factions, like New Vegas itself, maybe some of these locations, they're not retcon per se, but they're just not in the show. They're there, but they're not there. If you understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, I'm excited for the show. I hope you guys are. When the show comes out Thursday, if you have thoughts about anything about the show that you want to say, you could say it to us at FalloutRTB on Twitter, or you can send us an email about it, falloutrtb@gmail.com. I have a little bit more to talk about, and we're gonna have fun. Again, we're already having fun because it's just me here, and I'm on Red Bull as I am drinking Red Bull. So continuing on with what I was saying earlier, I hope they bring not droids, robots. Like we see in the TV show, there's a handy bot. I hope they have Gutsy's Big Bertha Sentry bots. That'd be pretty cool to see. Sentry bots, Mr. Gutsy's, like in some locations in Fallout 4, or I think it was Fallout 3, where they had robots that were continuing to do their jobs even after, and then they would malfunction. That would be a cool storyline, but I'd understand if they didn't do it because it was already done. That's the big thing with the Fallout, with this thing that I would hope for, that they would, if they were to do something like that it would be not too overdone, crispy baked, that sort of thing, where it'd be original content. It would not. I mean, I would understand playing out a couple things that were already in games because they've shown up in multiple games. You know, like aliens, robots malfunctioning, or continuing to do their jobs while malfunctioning, so they get it all screwed and messy and whatever. Um, just weird people out in the wasteland, factions, such as the Brotherhood of Steel, which we know is in there. Creatures such as Deathclaws, Yagwai, Ragstags, but I don't think Ragstags would actually be in on the west side of. I was like to say the west side, because it's desert. I mean, if they come out with something, like an adaptation, I would be cool with it, depending on how it looked. Centaurs, like in New Vegas, I think that they could do something like that. They've already shown us something, a beast, a creature that I can't remember the name of, that's like original to the show, I believe, or it was like in Fallout 1 or 2. Which I'm like, yeah, add creatures, yeah. Which, yeah, I'm excited. So anyway, I think that I'll call it a night or a day. Thank you for letting me rant to you. Get some things out there. I'm Maverick Stone. You can find us. You can find the show again on Twitter at FalloutRTB and at our Gmail, falloutrtb@gmail.com. We normally record these live with 4 or 5 other people. Jax's Sassy Lady Romer, Gingerino, Suliar, or Eric. But, today I just felt like we had issues. Not issues, but I wanted to get the content out to you guys, and I had some thoughts I wanted to say, so I came out and I just did it. So anyway, I'm gonna say goodnight. Tune in next week or the week after. Probably the week after, as more of us will come back, probably from the wasteland or from their television sets after watching the TV show. And then we'll probably talk about what we discussed, what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like. Who knows? We're a roundtable podcast. We talk a lot, believe it or not. So I'm going to say goodnight. Good night and goodbye and good morning.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.